The gods of ancient Sumer kept secrets the way rulers keep power carefully, jealously, and not always successfully. 5,000 years of tablets record what happened when those secrets moved from divine hands into human ones. The results were rarely what anyone intended. Here are 15 tablets that track the transfer and the cost. If ancient wisdom and the hidden history of humanity's origins fascinate you, consider subscribing so you never miss a video like this. Number 15. The Eridu Genesis. Enki warns Ziusudra. Through a wall? In the Nippur tablets dated to around 1600 BCE, the gods had gathered in assembly and sworn a binding oath. No one would warn humanity that a flood was coming. Every god agreed. Every god signed on. Enki was in the room when the oath was made. He agreed too. Then he walked to the wall of a room where the priest king Ziusudra was sleeping and began to speak to the wall. He told the wall there was a flood coming. He told the wall how serious it was. He told the wall what a person would need to survive it. Ziusudra, on the other side of the wall, heard everything. Technically, Enki had told no one. Ziusudra built a boat, survived the flood, and was transported to Dilmun and given eternal life. Enki suffered no punishment. The loophole held. Number 14. The Epic of Gilgamesh Tablet, 11 Utnapishtim and the plant that a serpent stole. For as long as any god had granted it, Utnapishtim's immortality had been declared unique. The flood hero had been told directly that no such gift would ever be given again, and yet he was under no obligation to say a word to the grieving king standing in front of him. Gilgamesh had failed every test. He could not stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights. He could not conquer sleep, let alone death. The point had been made. But Utnapishtim's wife asked her husband to offer a parting gift. Utnapishtim told Gilgamesh one of the god's secrets. A thorny plant at the bottom of the sea, called How the Old Man Once Again Becomes a Young Man, which could restore youth. Gilgamesh tied stone weights to his feet, walked the sea floor, and retrieved it. That night, while he bathed in a pool, a serpent smelled the plant and stole it. As it slithered away, it shed its old skin. The serpent was reborn. Gilgamesh had nothing. He wept and returned to Uruk, still mortal, his city walls, his only legacy. Number 13. The Myth of Adapa. Why has Enki revealed the secrets of heaven and earth to impure humans? That question came from the sky god Anu, and it has no recorded answer. Enki had created Adapa, the sage of Eridu, and endowed him with the knowledge of the gods, but not with immortality. He gave the man power over language, dominion over the sacred arts, and insight into divine plans. He gave him everything, except the one thing that would have made him equal to the gods. When Adapa broke the wing of the south wind and was summoned to heaven to account for it, Enki told him, "Refuse everything offered to you. Do not eat. Do not drink." Adapa followed these instructions perfectly. Anu offered him the bread and the water of eternal life. Adapa refused both, exactly as his Gonicht told him. He was sent back to earth wise and mortal, having unknowingly declined immortality for all of humanity. The tablets recording this story were found in the archives at El Amarna in Egypt, dated to approximately 1400 BCE correspondence files of a pharaoh who was already reading Mesopotamian mythology as standard literature. Number 12. Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and the netherworld Enki created a hole in the earth to let a dead man speak. 2 sacred objects fell into the underworld, in some translations described as a drum and a drumstick, in others differently. Gifts from Inanna, they dropped through a crack during a game in Uruk. Gilgamesh could not go down to retrieve them himself. Enkidu volunteered. Before he descended, Gilgamesh gave him a complete set of rules. Do not wear clean clothes. Do not anoint yourself. Do not carry weapons. Do not greet the dead as if you know them. The underworld notices the living through these things. Stay invisible and come back. Enkidu did none of it. He wore his finest clothes. He anointed himself with oil. He kissed his dead wife. He struck his dead son. The underworld seized him and would not let go. Enlil refused to help. The god Nana refused. Only Enki agreed to act, and he asked the sun god Utu to open a passage. A crack appeared in the earth. The spirit of Enkidu rose through it and spoke to Gilgamesh. His report on the underworld, who was honored, who suffered, what death looked like from inside, is one of the earliest written descriptions of the afterlife in human history. Then the passage closed and Enkidu was gone again. Number 11. Inanna and Enki, the feast that transferred civilization itself. Over 90 divine powers, gone. All in one evening, Inanna arrived at Enki's palace in the Anzu, his underwater realm of wisdom and fresh water, and the two deities feasted. Beer flowed. Enki's confidence expanded with each cup. He began offering Inanna the me, the fundamental decrees that governed every aspect of civilized existence. Kingship, the descent into the underworld, truth, music, the scribal arts, the crafts, the care of the elderly. One by one, she accepted each one and loaded it onto her sacred boat. By the time Enki sobered up, Inanna was sailing toward Uruk with civilization itself as cargo. He sent sea monsters to stop her. All of them failed. Eridu lost its place as the center of the divine world. The consequence for Enki: he was outwitted at his own party, in his own home, by a goddess he had invited. No punishment beyond that. The me were gone. If you found this journey through the ancient tablets worthwhile, drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. This channel reaches people from every corner of the world Sumer once knew. Number 10. The Apkallu, 7 beings sent to teach humanity everything the gods knew. 7 of them, all from the Anzu. The Apkallu, called Abgal in Sumerian, were created by Enki and sent to walk among the first humans before the Great Flood. Their job was to deliver the entire catalog of civilization: moral codes, crafts, agriculture, medicine, divination, writing, and the organization of the first cities. The Uruk list of kings and sages, a cuneiform tablet preserved from the ancient city of Uruk, pairs each Apkallu with the antediluvian king they advised. After the flood, they were gone. The transmission was complete. In their place, human scholars, called Umanu, inherited the knowledge and passed it forward mortal, fallible, working from tablets rather than from direct divine instruction. Some later texts record that the post-flood, half-human Apkallu, those who had intermarried with humans, committed transgressions that angered the gods. The record does not specify what happened to them. The knowledge, however, remained. Number 9. The Atrahasis epic. A god told a reed wall what humanity needed to know. The gods had taken their oath. No one would warn the humans. Everyone agreed. Then Enki found a wall. The Atrahasis tablets pressed in clay around 1650 BCE, but drawing on sources far older record that Enki spoke to the reed walls of a house where his chosen human, Atrahasis, was sleeping. He did not address Atrahasis directly. He addressed the wall. He told the wall a flood was coming. He told the wall how to build a boat, what dimensions it needed, what to bring inside it. Atrahasis, on the other side of the reed, heard every word. He built the boat. He filled it with animals, craftsmen, his family, and grain. The flood came and lasted 7 days and 7 nights. When it ended, Atrahasis was alive and the rest of humanity was not. Enlil, furious, demanded to know who had survived. When he learned what Enki had done, there was a prolonged confrontation. Enki argued his case. Enlil, eventually and reluctantly, agreed that humanity could remain with new limits on its reproduction and lifespan built into the terms. Number 8. The descent of Inanna and Enki built 2 beings out of fingernail dirt and sent them to face death. After 3 days, Inanna's body hung on a hook in the underworld. Enlil refused to help. Nana refused. Every god on the surface turned Ninshubur away. Then she went to Enki. He listened. He did not lecture her about the rules. He reached beneath his fingernail, gathered the dirt he found there, and fashioned 2 small beings, the Galatura and the Kurgara, with no male characteristics, no female characteristics, and nothing that would draw Ereshkigal's attention or provoke her grief. He gave them the water of life and the bread of life and sent them down through the 7 gates. They found Inanna's corpse and restored her. She walked back out. The consequence of this act: Inanna survived, but the law of the underworld required a substitute. Her husband Dumuzi was seized and dragged below. He was permitted, eventually, to spend only half of each year in the upper world. The other half, his sister Geshtinanna, spent in the underworld in his place. The cycle still runs. Number 7. Gilgamesh and Huwawa advice that led directly to a hero's death. The cedar forest was not supposed to be touched. Huwawa, also called Humbaba in the Akkadian version, was placed there by the god Enlil himself to guard the sacred trees. He had 7 layers of divine radiance. No mortal was meant to approach him, let alone kill him. Enki gave Gilgamesh advice on how to do it anyway, funneling the council through Enkidu, according to one version of the surviving text. Gilgamesh and Enkidu killed Huwawa. They came back to Uruk victorious. Then the gods met and ruled that one of the heroes must die for what they had done. The decision fell on Enkidu. He spent 12 days dying, growing weaker each morning, dreaming of the underworld, cursing the door he had built for Enlil's temple and the people who had introduced him to civilization. He died without a battle wound, in a bed, in a city the death he considered most shameful. The advice Enki provided helped win the fight. The fight killed Enkidu anyway. Tell us which god in these tablets do you think acted most recklessly with what they shared? Leave your answer in the comments. Number 6. Nurgal and Ereshkigal rules, given to a god, broken immediately, with permanent consequences. Before Nurgal descended to the underworld to face Ereshkigal's judgment, Enki gave him a complete rulebook. Do not sit in the seat she offers. Do not eat the bread. Do not drink the beer. Do not wash your feet. Do not accept any hospitality. Stay only long enough to be judged and leave. The instructions were specific and the reasoning was clear. Accepting the underworld's gifts meant accepting the underworld's claim on you. Nurgal accepted the seat. He accepted the bread. He accepted the beer. He accepted Ereshkigal herself. For 7 days he stayed with the queen of the dead as her consort. When he finally returned to the upper world, Ereshkigal was furious at his departure. She threatened to release all the dead into the living world if he was not returned. Enki sent him back. This time, there was no leaving. Nurgal became the king of the underworld permanently, ruling beside Ereshkigal for the remainder of existence. The instructions Enki provided were good instructions. Nurgal simply did not follow a single one of them. Number 5. The Epic of Gilgamesh Tablet. 12. Every rule broken, every consequence paid. He was told exactly what not to do. Gilgamesh recited the list in precise order. Do not wear your clean garments. They will know you are alive. Do not anoint yourself with fine oil. They will surround you. Do not throw your throw stick. Do not carry your sandals. Enkidu wore the clean garments. He anointed himself with fine oil. He kissed his dead wife. He struck his dead children. He sat in the chair that belonged to the dead. He fell into every trap Gilgamesh had warned him about, and the underworld sealed itself around him like a hand closing. Enki arranged a passage so his spirit could rise briefly and speak. That passage was the only mercy. What Enkidu described when he came up through the crack in the earth, the conditions of the dead, the fates of different kinds of souls, the darkness of the House of Dust became the first detailed testimony about what the Sumerians believed waited for them after death. The knowledge came through at a price neither Gilgamesh nor Enkidu had planned to pay. Number 4. Lugalbanda and the Anzu bird divine speed, given to a mortal king, used to win a war no one else could, left behind by his army, sick, alone in a mountain cave without any expectation of survival. The young king Lugalbanda, marching with Enmerkar's forces toward the city of Arata, had been abandoned by his brothers and the army when his illness became too severe to carry him forward. What happened next is recorded in one of the 4 Sumerian epics known as the Matter of Arata, composed during the Ur-3 period around 2000 BCE. Lugalbanda found the nest of the Anzu bird. He fed the chick, cared for it, and groomed it while its parents were away. When they returned and discovered what the young king had done for their offspring, the Anzu bird granted him a gift: divine speed and the endurance of a god. No mortal had carried such a power before. Lugalbanda ran back to his army, carrying Inanna's instructions, the divine knowledge that would ensure victory over Arata. He told no one where his speed had come from. The war was won. Lugalbanda survived. The Anzu bird asked for nothing in return, beyond the care already given. Number 3. Inanna and the Huluppu tree, a gift that became the cause of everything that followed. The sacred objects Inanna gave to Gilgamesh were made from the wood of the Huluppu tree, the same tree from which she had driven the serpent, the Anzu bird, and Lilitu. She gave them as a reward for his help. She meant them as a celebration. During a game in Uruk, both objects fell through a crack into the underworld. Gilgamesh could not retrieve them. Enkidu went down, broke every rule, and was kept. Gilgamesh entered a grief that drove him across the known world in search of immortality, toward Utnapishtim, toward the plant of youth, toward the conversation where he learned that death had always been humanity's portion and that this fact would never change. The gift Inanna gave after the tree was cleared was given in good faith. What it set in motion was the entire second half of the oldest story ever told. She could not have known. The tablets do not suggest she did. Number 2. The Uruk list of kings and sages, the last record of what the gods gave and what they kept. The cuneiform tablet known as W20030 number 7, found in the ruins of the ancient city of Uruk, lists the 7 pre-flood sages alongside the kings they served. Each sage brought specific knowledge, and each was paired with a specific city and ruler. After the flood, the list continues, but the names are different. Human scholars now, mortal, trained, working from tradition. The column for the divine origin of the knowledge is empty. The text is matter of fact about the transition. There is no mourning for the departure of the Apkallu, no ceremony marking the moment when divine instruction became human scholarship. The gods gave what they chose to give before the water came. Afterward, humans were on their own with what they had received. The tablet documents this transition as a logistical event, not a tragedy. 7 sages, 7 kings, 1 flood. Then, humanity, carrying the knowledge without the teachers. Number 1. The Myth of Adapa, the price of being the wisest human who ever lived. He was called the Sage of Eridu. He prepared the food of the gods with pure hands. He maintained the sacred boat. He set the table without which the table could not be set. Enki created him as a guide for humanity, the first man made not just to labor but to understand, to speak with the authority of the divine, to exist at the edge between mortal and immortal. And when Anu placed the bread and water of eternal life in front of him, Adapa refused. He refused because Enki had told him to. He refused because he trusted the god who made him above the god who was offering him the one thing he had never been given. The tablets do not say whether Enki knew what would happen in that moment, whether the withholding of immortality was a plan, or a boundary, or simply the last line that no god had been willing to cross. What they record is this: Adapa went back to earth. He lived as a man, he died as a man, and the knowledge Enki poured into him, the secrets of heaven and earth that made a sky. God asked in genuine bewilderment why a god would share such things with impure humans that knowledge remained in the world. Distributed now, human, carried forward in clay, in story, in every tablet that has ever been pressed and left to dry.